Now coming to you from the campus of City College in Harlem, USA. The program that you're about to hear, Respect for Life, does not reflect the views, attitudes, whims, deeds, or any other proclivities of the management of Whcr, nor that of the administration of City College. However, the program does reflect the research done by the participants in the program live and live in color in studio by phone interview. And, of course, there's you. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, the first-class citizens of the world. I'm Brother Leroy, thankful to the Most High for blessing us with an opportunity to be with you this morning for Respect for Life, program dedicated to mental health, approaching it from various angles, and that's the uniqueness of this show, that we will approach it from various angles. Today we're dealing with the mind, that which goes into our mind, and as a result of that, shaping our attitudes and our actions. We are scheduled to interview a very, very, very knowledgeable brother, Dennis Kimbrough. Dennis Kimbrough is coming to New York. I never heard of Dennis Kimbrough. Well, it's about time you did. The brother is a very, 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 very excellent speaker, excellent teacher. And he has written a new book called The Wealth Choice, and we all need to get into that. So, God belongs the glory, and we do a good deed. We have 10 that the universe is going to return to us, and the information that you get over the show today, we would hope that you would pass that on to someone else, and that in itself is a good deed. Once again, we thank the Most High for blessing us to be with you, you to be with us. You'll have an opportunity to call in 212-650-6903, 212-650-6903. This interview has been set up by Whcr Bookstore online, Sister Marv Allen, and we'll have more details of Dennis Kimbrough coming to New York this Thursday here at the Hotel Pennsylvania. And we had Brother Ali Yassin a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about this great event, and we'll be right back.
Saber que no te has muerto y al mirar aquel retrato, no te has muerto. En tu rostro yo comprendo la maldad de tu querer, falsedad en tu mirar. No te has muerto. Amor solo para perder, así es vida, tu querer, por eso te digo. Siempre, y así yo sabré olvidar. Sabré olvidar, mujer. Y yo sabré olvidar. Ay, 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 ay. Sabré olvidar, mujer. Y yo sabré olvidar.
Okay, that is Los Hermanos Colón, Lo Mejor de la Salsa de los Hermanos Colon, and a gift from Brother Eddie Love, who comes on alternate Saturday evenings here on WHCR. It's a gift to the community when you can tune in on Saturday evenings and listen to Eddie Love. He does what are called oldies and definitely goodies. And by the way, the Motown musical is in town, and you will love it. I'm not getting paid to tell you this, except that it's a favor, a good deed, to tell you things that will add to your life. And the Motown musical, you will be applauding and standing at your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, wealth is a word that we hear, and some of us pay very little attention to it unless we have empty pockets. And if we have empty pockets, we're so set on survival that the building blocks of wealth is something that escapes us. At any rate, we have with us a brother who has shared information so willingly and teaches at a university in Atlanta, and actually tries to give the students there a head start on building wealth and at the college level, something that most of us only do way after college. And we're very happy to have with us. He's the author of Wealth Choice, Success Secrets of Black Millionaires. Dennis Kimbrough, thank you for joining us on Respect for Life.
Hey, it's great to be here.
My brother, this is the same black station that Brother Ricky Young is on. I know you know Brother Ricky Young.
Oh, sure.
What's in your black hand?
Me and Ricky go way back and come way forward.
Excellent, excellent. He's on 2 days a week, and that's Friday morning and Sunday morning. Good brother. At any rate, the Wealth Choice. You've written the book, Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. And here's the Wealth Choice. And I've gone through the book. It is actually, here's my experience with your book. It is actually a classroom. I'm not saying this from the standpoint of people being intimidated. Each chapter is to be studied. It's not to be read right through. You got to, actually, as you go through it, you have to ponder, you have to make notes, because things come up in your mind, come up in my mind as to things that I've done and things that I haven't done, and opportunities that are there right around us. I see it as being more a document that you're leaving with the people, something that they can work with for years to come and other generations can work with. That's my experience. What was your focus in setting it up in this particular way?
Well, it wasn't so much, and I'm glad that you used the term experience versus actually writing a book, because it was an experience. I mean, for 7 years, that's all I did. I crisscrossed this country, and I used 3 different means and modes to go ahead and interact with these black millionaires. Number one, I used 6 different focus groups. I had a focus group of black millionaires in Nebraska. I had 1 in North Carolina. I had 3 in Atlanta. I had a huge one in Washington, D.C., and a small one with just black females out in Las Vegas. So that's number one. Number 2, I used a full-blown survey. I asked these black millionaires 118 questions, trying to, wrap my mind and my arms around their mindset and their modes of behavior. And then last but not least, I had about 60 interviews, and it was during the course of those interviews that I got a chance to interact with Tyler Perry, with Steve Harvey, Damon John of Shark Tank, L.A. Reid of X Factor, and the like. And what I found 7 best practices. That's why the subtitle of the book, though it says Success Secrets of Black Millionaires, I really feature the 7 laws of wealth. I found 7 best practices that these black men and women incorporate in their daily life. And number 1, right at the top, is knowledge.
Yes.
And that's why it's critically important that you said you read the book. The average black millionaire almost reads a book a week. That's almost 50 books a year. Now, why is that critically important? Because wealth begins in the mind and ends in the purse. We live and have our being in a capitalistic society that is predicated upon the fact if you want to earn more, I suggest that you learn more. So taking the information, studying, and really understanding the norms and the mores and the mindsets of wealth creation.
Okay, the first chapter is knowledge, the most powerful economic weapon. Let's go back, if you would, to the fact that black people in America, and I'm dealing with the black experience, black people in America were forbidden to know and learn how to read and write. Mm-hmm. And that didn't begin to change dramatically until 1865, 1866. And in terms of the change, it was freedmen's schools. But most importantly, it was the fact that blacks were yearning and to learn how to read and write. It wasn't that we were satisfied with our condition, our ancestors. What was, based on your experience and your readings, what was the intent as it relates to this economic weapon piece that you have here, knowledge, the most powerful economic weapon? What was the relationship to the slave-making society to keep us from reading and writing and communicating? And I'm tying that in, with this economic piece.
Well, you're exactly right, and really the timeline goes back further than that. Not even the 1800s, 1935. Because if you're African American, you couldn't even attend public school below the Mason-Dixon line until 1935. So, from the first footsteps that we had in this, quote, free society back in the 1600s to 1935, how were African Americans educated? It was private Christian education, and you are exactly right. W.B. Du Bois, our most prolific scholar, said that in 1899. He wrote a book entitled The Negro in Business. And what Du Bois was trying to do, he was trying to highlight and really promote the successful practices of black business owners so it could be replicated, so it could be emulated. Unfortunately, as a race, we took his writing, we put it on a shelf, and we really didn't digest what he was saying. But if you read the first 15 pages of that book, Du Bois says the man or woman who doesn't respect his or her finances, doesn't take care of their finances, won't take and won't respect anything else. And what Du Bois was talking about, anything else, he didn't mean economically. He meant quality of life. And because we don't respect our finances and because we don't take care of our money, anything else can be seen across, we cut on the TV and we see what he means by anything else. We listen to music and we understand what he meant by anything else. I can give you all the data surrounding the economic standpoint of black America right now. 27% of African Americans spend more on a weekly basis than what they bring in. More than 30% of African Americans don't even have a savings account. Almost 40% of black children born and raised in poverty. More than 40% of African Americans don't even use a bank for their financial transactions. They use those check cashing facilities that we see all around. Mississippi, which is the blackest state in the Union, in the state of Mississippi, you got more check cashing facilities in the state of Mississippi than you have McDonald's restaurants. So the bottom line, until listen, I know it's tough. This last recession, and it's still a recession in the black community right now, has just damn near wiped out the middle class and placed us on our knees. And I'm glad that you brought that up, time period where we couldn't read, we couldn't grow, we couldn't study. There was a time that we couldn't even have a family. We couldn't even go to school. We couldn't worship. A lot of things that we couldn't do. But in the words of that old philosopher known as MC Hammer, we've been too legit to quit. There is a spirit in us. There is a power in us that yearns for more, that says, yes, there is more to life, and I am going to go after it.
I'm still dealing with your book, The Wealth Choice. And I'm going back to that period when we were, quote, freed from formal slavery. In towns such as Durham, North Carolina, there was the rapid growth of wealth building, businesses, etc. And it can't necessarily be applied to individuals who knew how to read and write, but to their industry. Tie that experience in Durham, North Carolina, which was wiped out by a riot of the other people, wiping out our wealth and whatnot at that point in time.
No, that wasn't Durham. That was Tulsa, Oklahoma.
No,
but you're right about Durham, though. Durham, North Carolina. When you look at millionaireship, black millionaireship, number one is Washington, D.C. There are more black millionaires in the Washington, D.C. area than any other area. Number two is Dallas, Texas. Number three is Atlanta. And number four is Houston, Texas. Number five is L.A. But the bottom line, if you look at per capita income, Durham, North Carolina, that Raleigh-Durham area is number one. And why was that? Well, you look at North Carolina Mutual Insurance Company that would give, that would offer blacks mortgages, that would offer blacks insurance, and that money was taken, 10, 15, 20 years later and spurning businesses, sending kids to college, which is really the foundation to wealth creation. But I can tell you, after a 7-year study on black millionaireship, I can give you the DNA to wealth. Wealth is not a function of condition. It's not a function of circumstance. It's not a function of who your parents are. It's not a function what side of the tracks you were born. It's not a function of how the cards were dealt. But wealth is a function of choice. It is a function of decision. It is a function of innovation and creativity. It is a function of effort and discipline. And the title, The Wealth Choice, why is the word choice on the cover of the book? Because the bottom line, it is a choice. There are 50 million different choices that we can avoid. There's no need for us to make on a daily basis. You can choose the shirt that you want to wear in the morning. You can choose what you're going to have for breakfast. You can choose what time that you want to eat for lunch. These are choices that you can turn your back on, and there's no need for you to address. But there are two choices that you have got to counter and interact with every day. Number one, you can accept the circumstances as they are, or number two, you can take the responsibility to change them. And what these black wealth creators have done, I don't care. I interviewed 3 of the 5 black millionaires. I interviewed Bob Johnson, formerly of BET. I interviewed Kathy Hughes, Radio One. I interviewed Dave Stewart, Worldwide Telecom. I don't care whether it's the 5 black billionaires or the 35,000 black millionaires. They have always taken the latter approach. So many people make excuses, but black millionaires make money, and you have got to decide. At the counter of success, there are no bargains. You must pay the price in advance and in full.
Okay, and moving into that of choice, the second chapter is make a decision that you will not.
You got to make a decision. As I share with you, you got 5 black billionaires in the United States, but you have 5 other individuals. If it weren't for this last recession, they would have joined the ranks of billionaireship. And I got a chance to interview several of them. One individual, great interview, his name is Victor McFarlane. You may have heard of him, McFarlane Founders, McFarlane Real Estate out in the San Francisco area.
Right.
He's a real estate investor and developer. At last count, his company doing more than $600 million. When our president spent time out in the San Francisco area, he dined at McFarlane's home. Well, I got a chance to have a great interview with Victor McFarlane, and here's a guy on path to be a billionaire, but couldn't hold it because of the last recession. He was born and raised in Middletown, Ohio, which is a blue-collar working-class community, single-parent household, raised by only his mother. And his mother, he and his mother and his older sister lived in a 1-bedroom, I guess you could call it condo apartment. And they had a couch in the front of that condo apartment, and for the first 12 years of his life, that couch substituted as the bed that he and his older sister slept on. So when he shared that ordeal with me, he could see that, I was sympathetic and I was empathetic, and he sort of cut me off at the knees, and he said, "Doc, don't feel sorry for me. As a matter of fact, those were the best 12 years of my life." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "It was during those 12 years sleeping on that couch with my sister, I made a conscious decision that poverty would have no place in my life."
Yeah.
If you lived a normal life, and what is a normal life? Anywhere from 74 to 78 years on Earth. You do the math, you do the calculus. That equates to roughly 29,000 days on Earth. That's all you get. Time isn't running out, but your life is. And the critical question that you've got to ask yourself, what am I going to do with the rest of life that I have left? Great interview with Donahue Peebles. Again, your listeners may not know who he is. He's a owner of the Palm Hotel down in Miami. He's got real estate, motels, hotels all up and down the eastern seaboard. So when I had my interview with him, I cracked a joke, just to liven up the experience, liven up the interview. And I said to him, "Don, how does it feel to be the black version of Donald Trump?" And though he laughed, I could tell he didn't take too kindly to the joke. And he said to me, that's a great question, but you need to ask Donald Trump how does it feel to be the white version of Donahue Peoples. And I said, what do you mean? He said, when Donald Trump got in the real estate game, his father had bankrolled him to the tune of $500 million.
Yep.
When I got into this real estate game, the closest I got to real estate was my grandfather was a doorman at the Marriott Hotel in Washington, D.C. Now, you tell me who started off at zero and who didn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest online is Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. He'll be in New York Thursday, March 21st, and that's this week. And he will be at the Hotel Pennsylvania. That's right across from Madison Square Garden at 33rd Street, right across from Madison Square Garden at 33rd Street. And it's part of the Billionaire Mind Intensive Extravaganza. It's going to be a very, very excellent 2 days, Thursday and Friday. He'll be there Thursday, 6 o'clock to 9 p.m. And you'll have the opportunity to interact with him and to hear his presentations along with others. And let me give you this telephone number for ticket information. That's 888-688-9946, 888-688-9946. And this is an event hosted by Brother Ali Yassin, Yasin. We had him on a week and a half ago. Exciting. And a little bit about your connection with Yassin. Someone introduced me to him by way of phone. We haven't met formally. But when I looked at the program, I said, well, for his ability to bring together this array of talent, of speakers, including yourself, Andrew Morrison, George Frazier, Myron Golden, Robert Allen. I said he's got to be together. I'd never heard of him up to that point. And your connection with him, how did you and Ali Yassin connect?
Well, I connected to him through George Frazier with SuccessNet. And I'm looking forward to being there this week, and there's going to be a lot of information shared. And like I said, knowledge is certainly the key. We've got to pass the baton on. When you look at Black America as a separate nation state, yes, we have produced 35,000 Black millionaires. We have produced, there are 34 million African Americans in the United States. And when you look at us as a separate nation state and compare us against our peer group, and who's our peer group? Well, you look at our consumption dollars, $1.2 trillion. You look at our level of education. You look at all the African American elected officials and leverage that. Well, instead of producing only 35,000 Black millionaires, we shouldn't have produced one less than 300,000.
Exactly.
When you look at our peer group, and what is our peer group? Western Europe, Canada, China, Japan, India, Malaysia. So the critical question that's being asked is, what in the world is Black America doing with its wealth? Mm-hmm. What are we doing with all of these resources? And that's one of the factors that we have got to discuss. Well, I've got to run, my brother. Thank you very much for entertaining me and having me on your show.
This is what you call an instant wake-up, my brother. I want to thank you very much and thank Sister Marva Allen and Ali Yassin for setting up this interview. May God continue to bless you. We look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Thank you very much. Take care. God bless.
All right, peace. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Brother Dennis Kimbrough, and we thought we had him here for an hour, but there are those of you in the audience who have had questions regarding his book, The Choice, Think and Grow Rich, The Choice for Black Folks. There are those of you who may have had a encounter with Brother Dennis Kimbrough, either on this station or Brother Ricky Young's program, rather, or on this program. We had him maybe 3 years ago, but he's down at Clark University teaching the students who come through there, and that's a whole nother discussion. But you still can call in 212-650-6903. Those of you who have wealth concepts, wealth experience, building wealth and growing wealth, 212-650-6903, and you will be on Respect for Life. And once again, the book is The Wealth Choice, Success Secrets of Black Millionaires. It's available at Amazon. You go to Sister's Bookstore on 156th Street and Amsterdam Avenue, and you ask her to order the book for you. And it's a Macmillan book, and it's easily accessible. It's a very good read. My experience in reading the book is that it allows you the opportunity to set up a study group. God bless you. Thank you for your call. You're on the Black Air.
Well, first of all, it was an honor to hear two great men, two great geniuses on the radio at the same time. That was a complete honor.
My goodness, brother. I thank the Most High for blessing all three of us, Dennis, yourself, and I, and that multitude of black folks who are out in the audience and others who listen to this program to this station, because we have information that they can't get anywhere else too easily anyway. My brother, God bless you, and condolences to you, your mom, and the rest of your family on the loss of your great stepfather. God bless you, my brother.
Yeah. My mother just went down to North Carolina for a couple of weeks, so she's down there, just kind of get away for a little while. She's down there with my sister, so I just got off the phone with her. She's in a good spirit right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tell us your experience with Dennis. Tell us your experience with Dennis Kimbrough, your first encounter with him, and those things that you have learned from Brother Dennis Kimbrough.
Well, I have a friend named Wally Hakeem, who my uncle who passed away, his name was Wally Hashim. Mm-hmm. And Wally used to tell me about this brother in New Jersey named Wally, and we had never met. So when I went to see Dennis Kimbrough the first time, I'm walking, and his brother's walking past me. We looked at each other. We never met. Wally told him about me, and Wally told me about him. And when we saw each other, we knew who each other was. And we've been friends ever since. And this was at a Dennis Kimbrough event.
Excellent.
So that was kind of special right there. But Dennis is one of the most dynamic teachers that we have. One of the most dynamic teachers, period. I mean, he teaches some pure success principles, and I love it.
And my experience in interacting with Dennis, it maybe the one or two times I've had the benefit of interviewing him and listening to him on the Bev Smith show. Some years ago, I taped it. I still have it. That interview that every interview that he has is filled with information. It's just like a page in a book. You can take 2 minutes out of it and study with it. What is very attractive to me about the brother is that of his consciousness of black history, and he's not afraid to go there.
Right. And then he's very passionate about his subject, because if you know his story, when he was doing this work, he was broke. He couldn't even buy his daughter a pair of sneakers. He was almost in tears. He was in tears, as a matter of fact. He broke down in one of the people he was interviewing in office. He said, "Man, hold your head up, man. Just keep on pushing forward. You're going to make it. You're going to be all right." He was about to give up. He had a strong, beautiful wife that stood by him. That's very important. She stood by him. When he wanted to give up, she would say, "Hang in there." When she wanted to give up, he would say, "Come on, let's hang in there."
Right.
So that having that strong support system is very important, too, if you have that.
Hold on, Brother Ricky, while we identify ourselves as Respect for Life, coming to you over
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Harlem Community Radio is 90.3 FM here in New York City, and bringing you information that you do not have an opportunity to get somewhere else. And on the line is our guest, Brother Ricky Young, and that's guest number 2 on the show. God bless you. Thank you for your call. You're on the Black Air.
Oh, yes, another beautiful day, Brother Leroy.
All praise is due to the Almighty. Thank you for your spirit and your participation in our program. Your observations or your questions?
Yes, well, I'm glad that you had the guest on, because and he did mention about W.E.B. Du Bois, and
yes,
it just rang a note for me, because I really feel as though that E.B. Du Bois, his position on education was really underplayed and misunderstood by so many, and by the brother mentioning, him, it just really dawned on me how I have a piece myself says wealth is measured not only in dollars but in cents, And, you know, it's a play on words, but it's something where W.E.B. Du Bois, he was kind of criticized at the time because many felt that he spoke above people's head. You hear?
Yes. Go ahead.
Many people felt that he was speaking above people's head. But see, the real science of it was that he respected the intelligence of black folks more than he was given credit for, and he felt as though that he can speak to the intelligence of black folks and they can really understand him. Meanwhile, like the brother that your guest had mentioned, something about how he wasn't really giving so much of the airplay that he was really valued for. You know, that's why we just hearing about him and stuff like this, hearing of him. But he was really a significant, powerful force. And as far as wealth is concerned, I mean, the brother was right on time, period.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well,
intellectual wealth, you know, and there's so much to it. So I just wanted to share that.
Okay.
You know?
All right. Thank you, my brother. God bless
All
you
right.
with a beautiful week.
Right. And Ricky's still on?
Black Ricky is still here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago. I had a small little miniature boxing set, and he was coming through Malcolm X Boulevard, and you know, we rapped for a little while. He knows Brother Hayat, you know.
Right.
So, yeah. So another beautiful day to your brothers, and you just uplifted mine.
Well, thank you, my brother.
All praises.
Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
So, Brother Leroy,
Yes, sir.
I just want to say, I want to thank you. I want to pay honor and tribute to you, because the reason why there's a program on the radio called What's in Your Hand is directly because of you. You
All
breathe
praises
life
to Allah.
into what's in your hand. And so I want to, like I said, I want to pay honor and tribute to you. And I have always have a special place for you in my heart because of you.
Well, brother, I'm going to say this, that the saying, whoever created it, I just can't remember. I just read it. It's in his book. And that is, when a student is ready, the teacher appears. And that's just, all of us are teachers when we get a certain level of experience and knowledge. Our mothers, our fathers are teachers. And the experience that we have with our parents and parents have with their children, that the children won't hear. They don't listen. And something happens somewhere along the line, and the parent may say, I told you so, or the student comes, the child comes to the parent and says, you know, you were right on this, and what were you saying? Explain that to me. How do I select a mate? You know, how do I tell if he likes me or she likes me? And it doesn't ring a bell until the student is ready. And definitely when you came into our orbit, you were ready. You soaked up everything and you took it further than where we have taken it, because in doing the two programs that you have, that is an extension of the good information that is possible to come over an airway. But you have to have people who are ready to do that. And you're doing it on your own. I don't dictate anything to you. I want to make that clear to the audience out there. Brother Ricky Young has his own talents. And that's a chapter in the Wealth Choice. It says, belief in thyself. That's 1. That's chapter 3. And chapter 4 is everyone has gifts and talents. And that's what we have to build on to create our wealth system. And definitely you are doing for self with the knowledge that you have and your pride to your mom and your rest of your family. You know?
Right. Now listen to this. My uncle Wally, who was one of my mentors and my teacher, I got a tape of him listening to Whcr, Brother Leroy.
Oh, man.
Got a tape of it, right? Now listen to this. I didn't know about WHCR. He was listening to it. He used to tell my family, yo, you got to listen to this program.
Wow.
He's the one that cleaned up our pots. Took the pork. I didn't grow up on pork, but he cleaned up, you know, he cleaned up the pots.
Wow.
With my family. He was the first. He cleaned up the pots, right? So he was my mentor. And he used to listen to WHCR, Brother Leroy.
Praise be to Allah.
And when he passed, I found the tapes. I was on WHCR at the time.
Right.
And I didn't make the connection until after the fact.
Hey, man. it's the lesson. One of the lessons in that is that when we are doing good things, it's out there, and when we reach when Ricky Young comes on at 6 a.m. Friday morning and Sunday morning, there's a whole lot of us who are not up, but it's those who are up, that early bird, catching the worm of knowledge, coming through on what's in your hand. And you've had some terrific guests. Brother, I used to have a show, it came on another station, and it was on in the afternoon, and they put me, they wanted to get rid of the show, so they put me on early in the morning. I said, well, I can't get any guests that time. And that's when I ceased being on that station. That was WLIB, going back many years. The point is that there are guests who are willing and able to be up at any time, relevant guests with knowledge and experience, and you've proven it. You've had people on from California. You're on at 4 in the morning. And it's not the same guest, and they be on, and you have one right after another, brother. So when you have that kind of ability, just like Ali Yassin has the opportunity and the ability to bring together this billionaire mind extravaganza this Thursday and Friday at the Hotel Pennsylvania, when you have that kind of ability, that is way and beyond just an ordinary talk show host.
Now wait a minute. Now, guess where I learned? Guess who I learned that it was important to have guests on your show? Where did I learn that from?
That's all I say. I say you could be a stutterer, but if you get good guests will make your show.
That's it. And you know where I learned that from? Yours truly, Brother Leroy. And I call you Dr. Leroy. I believe you should have your honorary doctorate. I call you Professor Leroy because you are a lot sharper than a lot of these professors and doctors out here.
I say all praise.
In my book, you are Dr. Leroy, Professor Leroy. You're a professor because you are a teacher. You are constantly teaching and educating the community. And I know the love that you have for your people and your community is outstanding.
Well, thank you, my brother. And
I'm not just saying that. Anybody that knows you know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
this is not just talk. Anybody that knows you know what I'm saying is real. But what I want to know is, what did you think about the card that I sent you?
Oh, man. I got that card right with me, brother. I'm looking at that card, and I said, whoa, what is this? I'm looking at this card, and I say, whoa, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the brother sent me a card. It's very personalized. And I said, how did he make this thing up? Well, with technology today, I said, wow. And he sent it to me in the mail. I pull it out of the box, and here he is sending me a salute to the fact that he was a student along with me here at Whcr before he started his own show. And I haven't shown it to my family yet because I haven't been around them to show it to them. My grandson is here this morning. My number one grandson is here this morning, and I'll show it to him. But definitely, brother, this thing knocked me off my feet, and I want to thank you, brother. Thank you for your concern and your sharing and your affirmation. I'll tell you a story I learned from Brother Omar Ahmed. Are you familiar with Brother Omar? He made his transition some years ago. He is a brother to Hannibal and Krishna up there in the Lincoln Projects. And Brother Omar, on a train ride to work several years ago, he said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says the black man dies an early death because he's not completed. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, no one tells him how good he is in a particular endeavor. And I said, well, what's the difference? He said, well, when you don't tell an individual how good they are at a particular level, they tend to stay at that level longer. But when you share with them your appreciation and you affirm them at the level that they're on, they go up. It's like a spiral. If you take a Slinky toy, the thing that goes down the steps, if you take that and hold it straight up, it spirals all the way up. And that's the growth and development of the human being. So with our women, with our men, with our children, we have to affirm how good they are, how good they are. And we've been beat up so often, we don't need the beating up. And that's for the men and the women in our lives. And even if we make mistakes, we have to affirm the positive in each and every one of us. So that way, we as a people will grow quicker, and it will affirm the talents and the gifts that each one of us has. And this is the beauty of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because of its ability to resurrect the minds and hearts of black people who have been trodden down and put them on a level where they can compete, and that they compete successfully. It also, even if they don't, black people come into the Nation of Islam, what happens is that people outside the Nation of Islam see the examples of the resurrection of these minds and the ideas of doing for self, that they vibe off of that. So working with you, Brother Ricky, is one of those automatic things. When you work with black people, you know that they have talents and gifts. All you have to do is take the time with them, and they're off to the races, brother. They gone. So it's an easy win. That's why we talk about volunteers, the black people who are retired from teaching, from principals. I say, how can you be retired as a teacher and a principal, and all this ignorance is going on out here? Our people just need to know the ABCs. That's how much miseducation has happened in this system today. So it doesn't take a degree to help the children in our family, and that's what I'm saying now. We don't even have to go outside of our family. We just focus on our family, your boxing ability, which is not boxing. Your thing is strategy, and that teaches the mind of the individual strategy. We go on to our next call, Brother Ricky. God bless you. We missed that call, but you're able to call in 212-650-6903. And I have my grandson here in the studio, and if he wants to ask Brother Ricky Young any questions about getting in shape and his strategy, well, you can. You just raise your hand. He's smiling. He said, I'm here to profile. God bless you.
Is that the one that plays football?
God bless you. God bless you. You're on the air.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, black man.
I call him Ricky, WHYH. What's in your hand? Ricky, it's Omar from the Big Mango. How are you, my brother?
Hey, how you doing?
I had the privilege of being on this brother's program a while back, and he is so enlightening. But you know what I want to talk about? We talk about the Lamb and the knowledge that he imparted upon us, and brothers like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, who on May 11th will be 80 years young, and this man's like a jet plane going around. Yeah. Just came back from Belize. You can't even keep up with this brother. And, you know, I'm listening to a lot of the guests that you've had on your show, and we've been taught this decades ago, before the computer, before all of this smartphone and all this other stuff. And he imparted this knowledge for free.
Yes.
Okay? He didn't charge an admission to go to Madison Square Garden. He imparted it for free. He put it in his books. And the brother that you had as a guest was mentioning how many billionaires and how many millionaires we have in our race right here in this country. But when I travel, when I've gone to Africa and lived in the Caribbean, different parts of Europe, we as a black nation would represent I think the 6th or the 7th largest nation on the planet. Our problem, in my humbled opinion, is that we don't keep the money in our community. That's what Brother Malcolm was talking about. As soon as we get paid, or as soon as we make some money, it goes to a different Canaanite community on the planet. And my question to you, doctors, because both of you are doctors, I'm bestowing that upon you in the eyes of March. You have both earned your doctorate. What is the solution? How do we get through to the younger generation, the generation who are incarcerated, the generation who are in the hospitals because they have diseases that we have cures for, but the doctors won't impart that knowledge? How do we get through to the mother who's raising her children, and a grandmother who's still in her early 30s who's raising her grandchildren? How do we get through to them?
Okay.
They have the internet. They have all of the things that we never had in our generation. Excuse me, I have a 3.5 2.5-year-old nephew who can run circles around me with the smartphone, but I'm learning from him. But how do we get and impart this knowledge before we make our transition?
Okay. All right, Brother
and
Ricky.
Remember, Ricky and Brother Leroy, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know my signature by now.
And we love
Salam
you.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Brother Ricky, you would like to take a stab at some of what he asked.
Well, one of the things I'm going to say is he called me a doctor, he called you a doctor, but I'm going to say he's a doctor as well, Dr.
Right.
Stefan Omar.
That's
because
right.
that's one of the things I learned from him. He says, yeah, people say, I love you to death. Well, Stefan Omar says, I love you to life.
That's right.
So that's what I use now. When I hear somebody say, I say, I love you to life. And I learned that from that brother. So we can learn from each other.
That's right.
Each one, teach one, reach one.
Right.
Right? So, but I'm going to have to tap back into the cards because with the card I gave you, I gave it to you from my heart, and that was from love. And here's the thing, I would do that anyway. But the fact that it actually has a business component to the card, it's a business component. And the guy that put this together, because he lost a brother, he had a prompting to give his brother, he was given to travel. He was given to travel to another city to work with his family in the car. He saw his brother in the field working. He had a prompting to go speak to his brother. And he didn't. Just got in the car and he left. A couple of weeks later, his brother was up on the pole, got electrocuted, fell 22 feet to his death. Mother called and said, your brother's gone, Chris. He said, wow. And a couple other things happened. He put this company together. So this is a way, a teaching tool, this card. Because if you look at the card that I sent you, Elijah Muhammad is on there.
Right.
Mex is on the cover. And you got you in there and Angela and all of us in there.
Right.
So this is a teaching tool. You can write anything you want. If you give them the right card, they're not going to throw that card away. And you can put the words in there that will sink in and teach them. It's a teaching tool as well as don't wait till somebody is gone. I just lost my stepfather, who was literally my father. He raised me as a child. So he is my father from Africa, from Liberia, Africa. And don't wait till somebody's in the box to tell them you love
That's
them.
right.
Tell them now. Show your gratitude to the people that you love now. Like Stefan Omar was saying, show gratitude to those children now. Don't wait.
Right.
So that's why I love this business, because you get to express it now.
Right.
That
And,
card I gave you,
yes, sir.
Dr. Leroy, was pure from the heart.
Well,
I got to express to you how I feel through that card.
let me say this to the audience. It's here's how you can get information on this card. Is send out cards and changing lives one card at a time. It's personalized. You can obviously have an opportunity in constructing this your card or your cards to the people that you love, the people whom you're going to have at a home gathering, and etc. www.sendoutcards.com, SEND, sendoutcards.com /boxing, the number 4, the numeral 4 rather, success. I'm just going to give it to you again. www.sendoutcards.com /boxing, the numeral 4, success. And that will put you right with the ability to get these cards. And it's a black business, and that's what we were talking about this morning with Dennis Kimbrough. And God bless you. Thank you for your call. You're on the Black Air.
Yes, this is Brother Wally Hakeem, the motivational champion of the world.
Go ahead, Black Hakeem. Go ahead. Yes, sir. You're on with Brother Ricky Young, and you're on Respect for Life. You're going to be at this event Thursday and Friday, or you just...
I don't believe it or not, my brother. I don't even know anything about it. Please tell me.
Okay, and hold on a second. Brother Leroy got the okay, it's going to be at the Hotel Pennsylvania. And, okay, here we go. The website is...
Wait a minute, let me get an ink pen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. There's a telephone number for tickets, ladies and gentlemen. Now, part of this event is Thursday and Friday. There's a luncheon on one of these days, and it's not on the sheet, but the luncheon young people, school age, young brothers and sisters, they are admitted free. It might be for the whole thing, but you have to call 888-688-9946, 888-688-9946. The safe place to go for information on the entire event and also other contact numbers is Billionaire Mind, MIND, Intensive, as is intensive care, www.billionaireMindIntensive.net. Also, www.billionaireMastermindForum.com. Billionaire Mastermind Forum.com. Those two websites will take you to the information. Thursday and Friday. That's the event. And let me see now. Enjoy a full day like no other. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., then 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Knowledge, Inspiration, and Motivation. It's a program put together by and hosted by Ali Yassin and Stacy N.C. Grant. And these are two folks who have put together the Billionaire Mind Intensive, and it's in conjunction with George Frazier, and George Frazier is georgefrazier.net. And for folks who may not be familiar with any of these people, Dennis Kimbrough is going to be there. That's all you have to know. And also Andrew Morrison, who's been a welcome voice here on Whcr. He's going to be there. And Andrew Morrison is definitely loaded with information. So this company of individuals who are going to be at this event Thursday and Friday is second to none. So did you have a question for Brother Ricky before we roll out? Brother Heavyweight Champion of Positive Thinking and Motivation?
Yeah, I just want to thank both of you brothers for waking people up early in the morning and giving them information that they need. What I also wanted to say was that it's not necessary for us to have any more mentors. We have enough mentors, and especially with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's philosophy was do for self.
Yes, sir.
Most people don't realize and understand that they have fear, man. They're afraid to go out and do for themselves. One of the things that I say is you got to change your stinking thinking and get a checkup from the neck up. You got to change the way that you think.
All right, brother. My brother, thank you. We're running out of time up in here. And before they run me out of here, I want to thank you, my brother. And you have the information. And thank you for your spirit, my brother.
Thank you.
God bless you.
And Dr. Leroy, we need to barricade that door, man. We need to keep this program going, man. Lock that door. Don't let them in. Sometimes my program be so good, I want to lock that door. I don't want to stop. I just want to keep going, man. You need to barricade that door, man. And we need to keep on going.
Well, the Brother Omar put to us a question. And in terms of the solutions to reaching our grandmothers, to reaching our young people, etc., each one must teach one. Each one must teach one. If we take the knowledge that we've gotten over these shows, I'm talking about Ricky Young's show, What's in Your Hand, this show, The Communicators, and any other show on this air, including Sister Mary Jefferson and Sister Aisha Sekou, they drop information. If we take that and begin to share it, we will be doing what Brother Omar says, but we can't see the results immediately. It's in a fine mist that the eye can hardly detect. The last question or statement, God bless you, on the air.
Yes, sir, and it's a Black Monday, shall we say? Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Smiley. God bless you.
Yes, sir, God bless you. Whatever the cliche is that the term used to be used, the best way to hide something from an individual is between the pages of a book.
Yes.
I want to go back. I want to do a throwback. Why do we think that individuals like Malcolm and all the great orators were on the corner? They were not sitting in classrooms
Beautiful,
comfortably.
beautiful.
They were not surrounding themselves with microphones and speak. You have to go to the street.
Beautiful.
You got to take it to the street.
Beautiful.
There's no other answer.
Thank you, brother.
Peace, love, and blessings.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you. Brother Ricky, that is how that I was thinking the other day, somebody was talking about Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben, Dr. George Simmons, Porkchop Davis. There's a nationalist. He was a nationalist pioneer movement brother. Carlos Cooks. These are people who we would go and look at on 125th Street and 7th Avenue in the evening. And when they asked for donations at the end, they would be dropping all kinds of knowledge. When they asked for donations at the end, we would roll out. I'm talking about as young children. But that's where we had begun to get our knowledge. And yeah, you take it to wherever the people are. And yes, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has a formula which is proven. But for those of us who are not into, quote, Islam, I'm not a Muslim and whatnot, common sense and supporting of one another, doing for self, helping one another in business. Sisters and brothers start little businesses. And if you can't buy the item or the service, pass that information on to someone else. And Brother Ricky, Brother Dave Bryan has brought to me the opportunity of a water filter, and I'm going to do some investigating on that, and this will be an opportunity for folks to not only earn money, but in terms of their drinking and having purer water than they have been exposed to. So that's something that we're going to explore. I want to thank everyone for listening to WHCR. I want to thank you, Brother Ricky, for calling in and your support. I want to thank the station management for allowing us the opportunity to be here, City College and CUNY for allowing us to be here, serving our people with the information that is critical for the growth and development of all of us. God bless you, my brother. Assalamu alaikum. And ladies and gentlemen, Sister Nellie Bailey will be on tonight at, she's on tonight at 6 o'clock. And please support our station, continue to support. Even WBAI is here. They are 99.5 on the FM dial. They have a lot of information going, so tune into them from time to time, see what they have on. Gary Knoll is on WBAI noon to 1 o'clock. A lot of information. God bless you all. Peace.
Greetings. This is Honey from Harlem 411. Tune in to Harlem 411 Friday nights at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for information on health, education, housing, community events, and more. Harlem 411 serves information to you with the opportunity to call in with your questions. Harlem 411, produced to serve the community's needs. Let us serve you with information. Friday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Harlem 411.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
If you know the